Hello, welcome to another episode of New Gameplay. Today I'm your host, Jeff Cork, joined today by Joe Juba.
Hello!
Hey, buddy. And
Hi.
Alex Stadnick.
Hello, friends. Hello, sir.
What are we looking at here?
We are looking at Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. This is the next-gen exclusive version of Devil May Cry that adds Virgil here as a playable character, which we're looking at, plus a handful of other sort of technical upgrades to go along with the new hardware.
Okay.
Captured fully on PS5.
Captured on PS5. This is Alex's footage, him
Okay.
on sticks here.
Oh, yeah, Jeff. I hope our viewers are sitting down because we're going to get a couple of sweet combos coming up here. Don't you worry.
Excellent.
So, Alex, what's your history with Devil May Cry? Are you just button mashing through this?
I am learning as I go.
All right.
It is a blind spot for me in my gaming backlog, but the tutorial does a good job of kind of catching you up on the combo system. I think it's pretty easy to pick up. Obviously, much harder to master type of thing.
Yeah. You're doing a good job of juggling yourself. Oh, which is pretty neat.
I do what I can, my friend.
So, for anyone who's played previous Devil May Cry games, you are probably especially if you're a fan of the series, you're probably familiar with the concept of let's add Virgil later as a playable character. They did this for Devil May Cry 3 initially, and then for the Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition also, and there was even Virgil DLC for Ninja Theory's DMC game.
Oh my goodness.
So it's at some point, I still enjoy playing as this character a lot, so it's hard to complain about getting this thing that you like. However, there's also an element of like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Capcom likes to do that. Like, Capcom will be like, hey, check this out, the Street Fighter reveal for the new game. Blanca's in it. Like, yeah. Cool.
So what we're looking at with Virgil here, if you've played previous incarnations of him, a lot of this is going to be familiar. There are some there are some tweaks to his moveset, so he's not identical to previous ones, but he's doing this. He has 3 weapons that he switches between. He's got this sort of Mirage version of the Force Edge. He's got his katana, and he has Beowulf, the like gauntlets and boots. So you can switch between those 3 weapons freely, and then he also has his I'm forgetting the name of it too, but he basically has his teleport trick that he can do, which is sort of his mobility stand-in for Nero's devil arm that he shoots around, right? So it's like one of the big things about Nero's like grappling arm, well, especially in DMC4, was being able to like grab enemies, grab points in the environment, zip around like that. Virgil can do that through this hovering.
You make the joke demonic commando at any point?
That is a good joke.
Thank you.
Makes sense. Part of what makes Virgil cool, I think anyway, is that he has this kind of this sort of like best of all worlds feeling to him, because so in the base version of DMC5, he needs like each mission is assigned one of the 3 main characters, with a couple exceptions where you can pick between them. But so for the most part, like this is originally a Nero mission. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But because with Virgil, you're playing through the whole game, through all the missions as Virgil. Right. So he needs to be able to do everything that all 3 of the other main characters can. And that's actually one of the things I'm enjoying about this version of it also, is the ability to, play through every mission as this single character. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
If you had one, is there a single upgrade to the PS5 that you feel like wasn't there on next gen when playing through this?
Well, let's see. The 2 main things, I think the 2 things that are noticeable and that Capcom is also touting as the main features are one is the legendary Dark Knight difficulty mode, which is, in addition to just being a harder than normal mode, it also sort of leverages the power of the technology to just throw tons of demons on screen at once.
Yeah.
So it's like more characters that you have to fight, in addition to them being a little harder.
That you're into, Joe? Like, does that appeal to you?
I wouldn't start on that mode, but like,
Yeah.
I am someone who enjoys playing all the difficulty modes in these games. So, yeah, I mean, it appeals to me. The other big sort of technical exclusive thing is turbo mode, which ups by, I don't remember the exact percentage, but it just makes the gameplay like go a little faster.
Okay.
Which for me is a little bit of a trade-off because it can have, I mean, this is something that we've seen in previous special editions of DMC also, and it's like, on one hand it's fun to see the action go even faster, but on the other hand, for me anyway, and some people who are better at the game may not experience this, but it throws off my timing a little bit on certain combos when you're trying to get big things going. So
definitely.
But it's still cool. It's still a fun way to experience the game. So yeah. And then there's another thing. Sorry, I'm just totally talking all over the place.
No, man, it's all good.
But the other important thing to point out with it is that even though those are next gen exclusive things, and this special edition is a next gen exclusive, if you own DMC5 on PS4, Xbox One, or PC, the current gen versions of it,
right,
you can still get Virgil as DLC for, I think it's just $5.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that is definitely the centerpiece of this game, and I think it's kind of nice of Capcom to make that a reasonable price that you can just sort of opt in and get to use the character. We're seeing his Virgil's doppelganger thing there, which is cool that he can do that.
Correct.
Yeah. So, you can, if you buy the Virgil DLC, you'll still get to use him in like the Bloody Palace. You get him in all of the story mode stuff. So there's still a way for current gen owners to get that section of that part of this game, even if they don't benefit from those sort of other technical upgrades.
For sure. See, I told you we'd get a good combo in
A
here.
rare S for Stadneck. I love it.
They customize it based on your last name.
And we've like just talked right over it, but there's a lot of really gross looking stuff that's going on here, by the way.
It is at its core still the base DMC5 game, and it has those weird things going on. But
yeah, I am ashamed to admit it, but I will do it. I'm with Alex. This is like one of my blind spots. Like, I've played some of the first game in the collection that came out a few years ago.
For sure.
But just could never get into it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It fell into that category too for me, where when I started to play more similar games to this, got outside of the Nintendo realm, it felt like there were so many DMCs out there already where it felt like it would take a long time to get up on the lore and play through the series. So it was always a bit intimidating to me.
Well, do not let the lore for Devil May Cry intimidate you.
Okay.
It is like, and this is coming from someone who's been like a fan of this series since the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are elements of it that I think are cool, but it is not like, this is not a story-driven game.
Okay.
And none of the, so few of the big moments, I guess I shouldn't say none, but like, so few of the big moments are tied to story reveals.
Gotcha. Okay.
That it's really just about the moment-to-moment satisfaction of stringing together these combos, of sort of like imagining something cool happening in your mind and then executing that and seeing it all play out.
For sure.
Because I mean, like, Virgil's involvement in the base story of Devil May Cry 5, this is the only reason I'm hedging on some of the story stuff being cool, is that like, his involvement in the base story of DMC5 was something that I was genuinely excited to see, and just sort of have explained when I was playing the original version of the game.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's always just like, hey, there's some big demon thing that wants to destroy everything, and you have to go through a bunch of weird demon intestine tunnels and stop him.
Yeah.
So,
I think, like, to Alex's larger point, though, I would say, like, some of it just comes down to not necessarily wanting to get knee deep in lore, Miller style, but just like to know certain things, like, what is a Dante?
Does he have an Inferno, perhaps?
Yeah, just what is going? Who is Virgil? Why is his name spelled this way?
yeah.
The hard questions.
Those are all fair questions. I think DMC5 is a pretty forgiving game for newcomers. Like I don't think it assumes too much if this is your first one.
For sure.
But
And to Joe's earlier point about that combat, it, as a relative newcomer, it grabs you right away. And like I said, I think especially if you turn the tutorial section on, it's quick, but it gets you where you need to go. And the upgrades, as we'll get to here shortly, feel like they make an impact right away, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, like, a game like this, it's like a larger numbered entry in a series. Should the FCC require something similar to, was it Yakuza 6 that had the story so far stuff that you could engage with to bring you up to speed if you're a new player? Should the government step in and require that? Is my question.
This does have one of those.
Okay, perfect. Sold.
So yeah, if you wanna get up. So here we're looking at Virgil's skill purchasing list, variety of upgrades that you have. So a lot of the same abilities that you saw in the base game, plus some specialized one for his three melee weapons, and then the Mirage blades at the very bottom are what Virgil uses instead of guns. He just his ranged attack is shooting these little phantom swords.
Yeah.
So
I love the upgrade I buy here. They do like an AoE around him that does consistent damage when it's active, and it's so good.
What did you get? The Stinger?
The spiral blades.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Stinger is always my go-to first purchase on things like this. But,
good to know.
Yeah, and then another thing that's cool. So where it says try, you can try out the different moves to see if you like them before you buy them.
For sure.
And this is another benefit of playing on next gen, is that transition into the void where you try that stuff out is very quick to and from.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no downtime.
So yeah, one thing you'll notice about this too, there are no, like normally in the base version of the game there are cutscenes all over the place. They have those taken out when you're playing as Virgil, because obviously the cutscenes involve Nero and Dante and V, and not Virgil. They didn't remake them for this character. There are some unique cinematics for him, but don't want that's like seeing those is one of the reasons why you would want to play, so I'm not gonna spoil
For sure. Yeah. Also, get ready, guys. I rope-a-dope the Goliath. So good.
Yeah?
He's wailing on me the entire time, and then I show him what for. You just wait.
So this is something that's going to get patched, probably? Like you just found he got hung up on the geometry or something?
Yeah, and then I just took advantage of it. Well, stay tuned. Not going to spoil anything.
Just like a tiny sliver of his arm is visible through a doorway. We've all done that, Alex. It's okay.
Yeah. Pro gameplay. That'll be in the tags here tonight.
So normally Virgil's playstyle is a little different from the other characters because he's a little more precision focused. You see that glowy blue bar around your life bar in the upper left is his concentration meter. So that just means that like the more hits you land, the less you miss, the less damage you take, the more that fills up, and gives you access to like slightly different moves depending on what level you're at and stuff like that. So again, even having played Virgil in previous incarnations, it's always fun to go back to it. And I think that this special edition delivers that, but then you also get that if you're current gen 2.
For sure.
So Joe, this is not an opportunity to roast our dear friend Alex or be mean or say something hurtful. I'm being very clear about this.
Okay.
What do you think about his performance so far as a relatively new player to the series?
Oh, it sucks.
Oh,
He's just trash.
that was not what I was looking for.
Thanks for joining us today on New Gameplay Today.
No, Alex, you're doing a good job here.
There we go.
You're getting some S's, man. I'm not
Yes.
gonna. And you didn't die? You beat the boss. You didn't die even once.
Yeah, I thought for my first playthrough, wink, wink, I think I did pretty good.
I noticed the in-game timer skipping all over the place, but whatever. So.
Yeah, so that's a basic look at what this next gen version of DMC5 has to offer.
Excellent. When is it out?
It is out on launch day for the new consoles.
Excellent.
And then it's when is it? The Virgil stuff I should have specified before doesn't come out at the exact same time. That the DLC,
later.
the Virgil DLC for current gen stuff comes out on December 15th.
Gotcha.
But
Cool.
you know, I'll right around the corner, no matter what.
Fantastic. Well, Alex, thank you for sharing this and exposing your vulnerable side. We always appreciate it.
That's what I'm here
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Bye.
Wow, that person was really good at playing that game. Those other people were really good at talking about it, too. If you find yourself saying either of these things, subscribe to Game Informer on YouTube for new episodes of New Gameplay Today every week, covering the hottest new and upcoming releases.